So here we are at Hockenheim, or Hungaroring, I'm sorry, the Hungarian Grand Prix in the town of Mogyrod. We're going to do 4 laps for our last blowout final race. Just as a quick reminder, here's our points and totals over here, and I am up by 2 points over Fangio and 13 points over Stewart, and those are the only 3 cars that have a chance at this. So let's see what I did here. This is a slow track. This is the only straight to speak of. Lots of medium-sized, and then some tight, lots of lines. So this is what I went with. I went with 40, 40, 140, 100 start speed, 8 wear, 3 skill. Yep, so that's a legal car. And I bid a lot. I bid 9. Mostly skill, but 4 wear. And let's see where that got me. So, kind of in the middle. Bids were all over the place. We had Vettel outbid Fangio by 1. Rindt outbid me by 2. And I was 2.5 above the next 2 cars, which is Mansell in the black Lotus John Player Special and Jackie Stewart in the orange March. And actually, I need to roll off for them, so let's do that now. Mansell the 6. Mansell outbids, outrolls. So you can make an argument that I overbid here by a couple. Yeah, but in a 4-lap race, you know, you're going to get a bigger spread, I think. But I'm glad I'm in front of Stewart, who's my, Fangio is actually the guy I got to worry about, and he's going to be the row in front of me, and I think this track's going to play really well for him. I think I've got my work cut out for him. Basically, if he beats me and finishes in the top 4, then he will have this championship won. He's going to have the tiebreaker probably over me. So we'll see how this plays out. So we're only 2 turns in, but huge move here. 2 turns ago, Vettel and Fangio were side by side, both having pushed their start speeds to 120. I was right behind Vettel on the inside. Vettel ended up going 120 because he wanted to make sure he got to here. He late braked, which for him is free because it's the first start of the race. Got there, spends 2. Fangio ends up going 80, puts himself there for wear. But the good news is I get a slip, so was able to hit here and then hit there, and now I'm out in front of Fangio, which is awesome here and a good spot for me really early in the race. So let's see if I can just stay in that spot for the rest of the race. I don't care what Vettel does. That would give me the championship. So let's see if I can do that. All right, so 1 lap in the books. This 4-lap race at Hungary, and I've dropped back a bit. But let's just look at everyone's race so far. Here we are, Vettel still out in front. He has 14 wear left for the last 3 laps here. So, I mean, I think the race is going pretty much the way he would want to start the race. And he'll have a couple more turns before he switches over to his third phase of his front A strategy here. So I think it's going well for him. Hunt has worked his way up. He's got 12 wear left in second. So he probably doesn't hate where he is either. Fangio is in third here, and he has got a 24 wear left, so he probably feels pretty good about his position as well, especially because he's in front of me, which is really all that matters to him. So right now, as we sit, Fangio is leading the championship series, and I am, well, I mean, not right behind him, but right there. And I've got 23 wear and a 3 skill chip. So pretty close on that mark. Although we don't have identical cars. Fangio's got the 60 diesel on him. I'm trying to just race my race and be efficient. And I think I'm doing okay with that because I've dug a little bit. Fangio had a bigger wear lead on me. Even when I was very excited about my move here in the first corner. Fangio ended up repassing me not too much later, a couple corners later, plowing through wear. And, so I'm just trying to be really efficient with my wear spend, especially in the back half of this track in the infield section, which is back here. There's some efficient ways to get through this section in here, these 4 corners, and there's some inefficient ways. So I'm trying to be efficient, and I lost a couple spots to that. But not as many as I would have thought, right? So here I am, and behind me is Rint. Rint tried to pull up even with me through the corner, the little stadium section there, and I spent an extra wear coming out of the last corner to stay in front of him. Otherwise, he would have blocked me off in that corner. So, anyways, he's got 17 wear left and a negative 1 and a 1 skill, a green skill chip. So I feel good about where I am in relation to him. Although he's on a B strategy, so in a couple corners he may really put the pedal to the metal and try and spend a good bit of lap 2 and lap 3 trying to fight through me. So we'll have to watch for that. And then if we look at the cars a little further back here. So next up, 6th is Alonso. Alonso is biding his time. He's got 26 wear right now, which that makes him high man right now with wear left over. And he's got also just a gaggle of skill, huge pile of skill, and he's sitting right there, not in a bad spot. So he's kind of in wear conservation mode for a little while. Probably will be for maybe the entire next lap as well. And then next up is Jackie Stewart. Jackie Stewart, not loving where he is in this race. He fell back a bit in the first couple corners, got blocked a bit in the midfield sections, and he's down to 19 wear, and more crucially for him, he's way back. So he is going to have to, he's got a slightly bigger car, but that's just not going to help him on this track. So he may need some luck. Because remember, Jackie Stewart is he's 13 points behind me and 11 points behind Fangio. So not only does he have to beat us, he's got to beat us by a significant amount, especially, and he really needs to place high in this race, and he's just not there right now. Fittipaldi, 11 wear. He never has a ton of wear, but his big car isn't terrible on this track. So there's Fittipaldi there. And then farther back, we have Mansell, who's further back than I would have thought. But he's running a front B strategy, so in maybe about half a lap, halfway through this next lap, he's going to try and make a push. He has 25 wear, so he actually has 1 wear less than Alonso. But he's all the way back there, so he's been having some trouble as well. He's gotten caught in similar situations to Stewart, getting blocked in a bunch of spots. And actually, right next to him is Raikkonen, who has still not spent a wear. Is that true? Yes, still not spent a wear, and is right there. So I mean, Raikkonen's got to be feeling good considering this is not a track I would have thought he would do well on. But there he is. But obviously the focus is right here with the third place car, Fangio, and my fourth place car. I need to flip that order if I want to win the championship here, and Fangio is perfectly content to be where he is. So let's see how this next lap progresses. So it's only actually a turn after my last video, but crucial for the race in general. Sebastian Vettel's in the lead, spins it. He was trying to two-iron a chance this corner. Again, he did it last time and made it, and it got him, you know, a nice lead there. But he hit it at 140. He would have gotten through the corner if he'd made his die roll, and actually he rolled a 10, so it was a good thing he had 2 green skill he had applied to that. Made it an 8 and a spin instead of a crash. But he spun there, and Hunt is coming. So Vettel's going to have some company there, and his lead is kind of disappearing on him. I mean, he will still be in the lead because he had such a significant lead, but it's coming back down again. So interesting turn there. So here we are halfway through the race, end of lap 2 for at least the lead pack in this 4-lapper. So we already talked a little bit about the Vettel spin in the second corner of lap 2, which was really still the big event in this lap. Hunt was able to pass him and led for the majority then of lap 2. And was just repassed on this last turn because as he comes out of the last corner here, he's only got 4 wear left, and so he starts going really slow up down to the hairpin up here, and Vettel pushes his top speed and passes him with a die roll. Fangio ends up beside him, so Vettel is retaking the lead, but his gap is a lot smaller than it was. Obviously, Rindt still power. So Vettel's got 8 wear, Fangio 12. So Fangio's still probably happy with his spot. Rindt back here has 7. I've got. How much do I have? I have 18. So I am doing a good job of conserving more wear than Fangio. Now I've got to figure out a good way to use it in these last 2 laps. Stewart has 16 and is still probably 2 turns behind everybody else. That interesting thing that happened, I lost track of exactly where it happened, and I'll have to go back and look and see if I can find that and point it out, because from this entire lap, these last 5 cars have been 2 turns behind me. And I'm basically a turn behind the leaders. So, but that huge gap in the middle of the pack was interesting, and I think it's just because there's some cars back here that are kind of running either U strategies and they're in the middle of it. In the case of Alonso and Fittipaldi here, or they're just not super excited about going really fast right now. Like Raikkonen, who's running a back strategy. So I think it's held up some people, and but Stewart has definitely kind of gotten in front of the pack, so it'll be interesting to see if he starts trying to close some distance down. But I do have still 2 more wear than he does, so and I'm out in front of him. But he has a bigger car. He has the 60-60-160 car. So it'll be interesting to see if Stewart can make a miraculous last push here. And then Alonso has 24 wear. He's still high man with wear. although he's now tied with Raikkonen, who's got 24 because Alonso just spent away here. And then Mansell's got 16, and Fittipaldi only has 7. So that's where we are. I'm surprised that Mansell has not been doing better on this track. I think he maybe just got squished a little too far to the back in that first lap and has been struggling now. He's trying to push it just now. Started trying to push it as of like the middle of this lap. But he hasn't had some good opportunities yet, so we'll see if he makes a move here. Alonso is probably not going to be pushing the go button until maybe the middle of this lap, maybe later, maybe lap 3. We'll see. But that's where the race is currently. I got a lot of work to do. I've got to figure out a good way to spend my extra wear and catch Fangio. Otherwise, he's got the championship. So we'll catch up in another lap. So here we are, last lap, getting ready for last lap, and here we are, as advertised. The number 1 and 2 cars in the season, 1 and 2 on the track right this second. I am right next to Fangio, but outside of him, I have 1 more wear and a 3 skill chip, but Fangio's got the bigger brakes, and he's leading. Vettel has fallen back here to 3rd, and he's got 7 wear left though, which actually is the same amount as Fangio. So I don't know if he makes a move, but he's probably out of the championship. Rint, well, he is out of the championship. He can't get there mathematically. Rint back there with 2 wear, floundering. Hunt has 4 back here. Jackie Stewart, the only other car with a chance at the title, theoretically has 10 wear, but he's 3 turns behind us. So that seems like too big of a haul for him. Alonso is in the yellow car behind him, the yellow Penske. He's got 15 wear and still has a huge stack of skill chips. Does he make some noise? Maybe. Win seems unlikely. Mansell, 6 wear. Bad race he's had here. Raikkonen still has 20 wear back there, but he did break his brakes. This isn't a track that will probably kill him on, but you never know. It does put him a roll away from blowing up. And Fittipaldi in the back with 5 wear. This has not been a good race for him as well. So, but really, it's about these front 2 cars and what's going to happen here. And I think the interesting part is that my feeling on this track is you've got to is that these first two corners are good places to make moves. Back here, if you've got the wear, do it. But it's also a good place to save wear. But the danger is once you get into this stadium section, it's really hard to pass people. And so I'm going to try and go all out in these first 2 corners. See what I have left to try and make a move here if I haven't passed Fangio here. And then, yeah, I've got to be in the lead before I get here or it's going to be really hard. So let's see how this last turn, this last lap of this 10 race season goes. So that's the end of it. And that last lap ended up being relatively anticlimactic as I passed Fangio heading into the first corner because I was willing to spend two wear here, and he did not. And at the end of the day, he ended up crashing in the final corner. He had no chance of catching me even then. Really, the race was over here. Not being able to make it through here, or getting stuck in this corner, and then getting stuck in this corner. Put him too far back, after having spent the same amount as wear as I had, which meant I was up on wear and in front of him. And then there wasn't much he could do with that, and he was spaces behind me. So my strategy worked out, which was great. So I finished the season with the win and 130 points. And interestingly, no one changed position in the championship. So even though Fangio did not get any points, so he ended up crashing or not failing to finish. He alternated from pretty much the last 6 races of the season, exactly the last 6 races of the season. He won Mexico City, did not finish Francorchamps, won Silverstone, did not finish Sao Paulo, won Nürburgring, and then did not finish Mogyrod. And ends up 25 points down. So that was clearly, and he had another DNF earlier in the season as well. He had as many DNFs as wins, and he had 4 wins on the season, which was the most of anybody. Today's win was only my 3rd on the season. So Vettel got second. He gifted second from Fangio's crash, or even without Fangio's crash, Vettel secures his 7th podium. Every race he finished, he podiumed. He DNF'd Francorchamps, Silverstone, and Sao Paulo in the middle, which killed his championship hopes, and he ends up with 10 points shy of Stewart. But Vettel, great season. For the record, I think Vettel is probably a 2.5 star, really. And I probably need to scale him back a little bit. I think his power in the first third of the race is a little strong. And then third, this race was Alonso, who just had a ton of bad luck. Although this was his second podium in the last 3 races, having won Sao Paulo, he gets third here. But it wasn't enough to really dig him out of his hole, and he ends up the worst of the 2 stars this season. Jackie Stewart finished 4th. He did not have a good race, and finishes only 3 points short of Fangio, though. 3rd on the season. And having started the season with 2nd place at Yongam and 2 first-place finishes at Monte Carlo and Monza, just amazing that he kind of tailed off down the end. Did not get on the podium again after that. So interesting season. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it. Appreciate you guys watching it. And we'll see what we'll cook up for next time for something a little different to do. Enjoy your own racing, and talk to you guys later.